And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Book Club Bros. My name's Chase. I'm here with Landon and Miguel. And this chapter,
Part three.
part, we're reading the, not part, fifth book? Sixth book? What are we
This is
on?
the fifth.
This fifth book
Dude, we
is,
came in hot with Book Club Bros, and then we unraveled.
well, that's how it is. Charting and Technical Analysis by Fred McGowan. If you guys are new here, welcome in, welcome in. This is part 3 of that book. So we read from chapter 10 all the way to chapter 15. Read all the way up there. Man, this was a thick one.
Yep.
They
This-
all are,
This
man.
was thick.
I already looked ahead. The same exact set of reading next week.
Oh,
About
man.
70, 80 pages.
I read like 20 and I was like, yeah, this should be good. Like pacing myself. And then I looked and I was like, I got another 50 pages to go.
out of nowhere, man. Like, you'll be reading, you'll be coasting, and then you'll realize you were hitting chart after chart, and then he'll actually go 2 or 3 pages worth of just talking. It's like, that slowed me down. Because whenever he does too much talking, honestly, not to go too long before we get into it, but like, if it's a chart, I feel like I go so slow trying to read it and then go back and relate it.
Yeah.
And then if it's
Yeah.
just words, I feel like I'm going slow because I'm like, there's no chart, so this
Yeah.
must be important. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
So
That is one thing about this book that I do not like is like he'll throw the chart in and then he'll talk about the chart, but the charts or like what he's
How do you
talking
make
about
it
the
work
chart
in a
is like
book?
2 more pages down.
how do you
don't know,
make it work
the-
in a book? You know what I'm saying? It's like PDF, it'd be easy, but
Maybe
with
hard.
this,
I don't
it
know.
kind of is. So I'm like,
Probably,
I
yeah.
get what you're saying.
Yeah, because he's like, oh yeah, if you look here, and then I'm like, all right, 3
Gotta go
pages
back, yeah.
back,
Yep.
and then I'm
He's-
like, what did he say? And then I got to go back to the thing. Oh, that's what he's talking about. But anyway, so chapter 10, inverted head and shoulders pattern. Does anyone have any highlights in there? I have something on 130. But
I had a highlight, just like kind of a blanket statement. It says, if a breakout above a known resistance level occurs, and this is on 129, sorry. If a breakout above a known resistance level occurs and there is no increased volume, be very skeptical. Sometimes a false breakout occurs and the price retreats back to the resistance level. Most every time, false breakouts are on low volume. So I mean, I just highlighted that because some of these things are like, if this happens,
Yeah, that was a good
then
point.
this happens.
yeah, I'm gonna re-highlight that
Yeah,
too.
so I thought that was not kind of a bad opening part
Yeah.
for the head and shoulder. Weirdly, I like how this is adequately named. Like, it kind of looks like Head and Shoulders.
Yeah.
So we call it Head and Shoulders. It's like, that's easy to understand.
Mm.
Like, I feel like I would try and call it Head and Shoulders, but it's actually called Chart 9975Y.
Right.
But it's like, oh, it's called the Head and Shoulders pattern. Okay.
Yeah. No, I actually enjoyed this chapter a lot. I had something on 130, just referencing the head and shoulders pattern. I guess it's so the head and shoulder. This is the inverted head and shoulders pattern. So this is when it's coming down from a decline, and then the head and shoulders appears, and then it breaks out of the neckline resistance. But it goes. He highlights it, or he highlights. I do. I highlight. It finally breaks out and closes above the resistance of the neckline. That should be a lesson to you as the power of resistance. This stock finally broke out above it, but unless a stock has the momentum or sufficient buying interest, always recognized as volume on the chart, they usually cannot break out, and that's why volume is so important. So just like kind of piggyback off what you said on 129 is like breakout's good. That's a great indicator, but the volume has to support it. I'm very curious to see how easily we are looking at a live stock, like when, because I think we're gonna get into it. I think he started doing it like exactly when you should get in. In the other chapters, but
Volume plays a big role in this. The
Very
more
big
that you,
role.
yeah, the more that, and you wouldn't even realize it. Like, I feel like some charts you just want to look at the pattern, and the volume has nothing to do with the pattern. So if you're just only worried about patterns and not tracking the volume with
Yeah.
it, you're leaving out like a key ingredient.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to talk about
yeah,
it,
just
like
adding
that.
more risk.
That's what it would be, adding more risk.
Yeah, too.
Something at the bottom of 131. Whenever he's kind of wrapping up talking about this stuff, he
Mhm.
says, "Always buy very close to support. That way your maximum loss is very small. Always use a stop loss and let the stop loss do the work for you in case the stock turns heads down." So we kind of talked about it a little bit more in the above paragraph, but it's like, he if you look at the chart, like he's saying, he'll tell you this is when, if you can identify it, this is when you should buy.
Yeah.
And that's something where it just makes sense. Like if you can identify that it's about to start an uptrend and you can get it at the low, then you want to go ahead and get it there, because then you can place your stop loss. And at least if you're buying it at the resistance, then like, I don't know, it all makes sense as long as you've been following along.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see like the only thing I don't like so far is like the charts all don't correlate the same.
Mm-hmm.
So like for instance on 130, that's a day chart. So it's day by day. But then he gives us another example of the double tops on
Where it's a
132,
monthly chart.
and it's a yearly chart.
Or sorry,
Yeah. So it's breaking it down by the months.
By the months, yeah.
But so that's always confusing because it's just like when or like what type of trading does this really help for, or
He-
does it really matter?
He talks about it honestly. I thought maybe a little bit later on in this, he says, for my day traders, this is the thing. If you're someone who's just trying to make a profit, I don't remember where it was, but I think it was
It's
a
definitely
little.
later.
It was definitely way more towards the end of the thing. But I mean, yeah, they do bounce around a lot. But then again, you have to assume that I feel like whatever one he's talking about is the most, maybe the easiest way to put it for us.
Right.
You know?
Just to show
Like
us.
like maybe there's a better example, but if he
define,
showed it to
yeah.
us, we wouldn't be able to get it or something.
I had something on 134 that was like I thought it was a really good nugget, but do you guys have anything before that?
I just, on 133, right below the chart, it says the inability of the second peak to move above the first peak is the first sign of weakness. And this is talking about a double top. And this chart is actually that yearly chart that you were talking about. And I think it's good. It's just another quick indication, because back to what we were just discussing, like the whole which one would be better. I think for myself, what I'm gonna try and do is I'll probably start with yearlies, and I don't know which stock I want to look at just yet, but I'm gonna find one, and I want to start with yearlies just so I can see like, okay, has this held up over 5 to 10 years, and then I'll start going into like the day to day. Once I see something that I like, then I'll probably go into like, okay, how did it move for this week or these last couple weeks, and then just start following it like that. So yeah, that was just a quick little nugget. So if you see a double top and the second peak is not going back to the resistance line, then that just lets you know it's going to be bear.
And that's probably I think that's, to me, kind of how he sets it up, is he's like, use it for your most consistent, if you want to make the most money, of course, if you could learn how to do all the stuff that's happening instantaneously, there's margins there. But for the beginning people, find a stock, find its pattern, make sure you like the pattern that it's been showing, and then, invest in that stock.
Yeah.
Not just, I don't know. That's the way he kind of sets it up to me. I had that same section highlighted.
Now, on 134, I never heard of this, but he really points out, he says, the angle of advance is something worth noting and remembering as well. When a stock price advances creating an angle on the chart greater than 45 degrees, it's not sustainable. Reaching the first high was a sharp advance, and that usually indicates euphoria. Euphoria never lasts very long in the market and certainly is not something that will sustain a stock's price. I've never heard of comparing the angle of how it's gaining to how well it's actually going to survive that advance. But I wonder if the same thing
It's like a fad, right?
yeah,
almost how it
it's
seems
just
like.
like a pump,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
but you know that it's not a true growth, it's just a spike.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if the same thing I wonder if the same thing also applies for when the stock is falling, if it falls fast
Dude,
or not.
I wonder if this is like an example of like FTX, where it's like it's this new thing, right? And it's like it's the same thing as all these other. It's just another one of the crypto places. But then also everyone goes way in on it. It spikes way too fast,
Yeah.
and then maybe I don't know what the market. We should go back and maybe look at what that stock looked like, because then maybe stuff started getting leaked. Like, hey, this isn't legitimate. These people are doing this and that, and then you would have imagined it started to dip, and that FTX was here and gone so fast that I feel like that maybe would like look like that 45-degree
Yeah.
spark,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe coming back.
Yeah.
Because how else would that happen? Like,
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of hype. then it pops, and then
And how often does it happen? I wonder. Like, I wonder if people
bet
try
you it
and
happens
pump a
a
lot of
lot.
money into, like, people that aren't being smart about it, and like try and pump a bunch of money into their product, or try and
Elevate the prices.
yeah, over. I don't know. I don't know if you can you overhype something. Is that
Yeah, you
like? But
definitely can.
I guess you can overhype it, but then like, isn't that what you're always trying to do whenever you're trying to market something? It's like just really just pump it out there, get everyone's eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like maybe sometimes the FTX thing is kind of a one-off because we know what was going on in the background there. But
Yeah.
like if it just doesn't end up working, I mean, if you see something being blasted to you, that's what everyone's trying to do, right? That's what you're trying to do anyways. So how do you know if it's gonna
They say it
just be
later on.
really fake?
They talk about that. Well, because the greater than 45 degrees is those are the spikes.
Yeah.
Like the spike tops and the spike bottoms, and then about when the media is portraying something,
Yeah.
he was saying it later on
Oh
in the
my
book. Like
gosh.
once that happens, like don't ever jump into that trade because they're just trying to sell off at that point because they've already bought it at this insanely low price. So
He kept calling it a vested interest.
yes,
They have a vested interest in either
Making
getting you
money.
to buy more so their stock looks better, or getting you to buy it because they just sold, or be something along those lines. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I liked how you really put this part in perspective on 137. He
yeah.
said, "Let me just say this: you are not smarter than the market. None of us are. That's why when you can never buy something just because it looks good and hope it goes up. When a stock or index breaks a support level, there is a reason for it. You may not know the reason. It really doesn't matter if you do or not. What matters is you must listen to what the market is saying. In this particular stock, it couldn't make a higher red flag, number one, and it fell below the previous low, breaking support, another red flag. A reasonable tight stop loss would have sold out near the top around $130 per share, and you'd still have $13,000 in your account. Instead of holding onto watch your $40 per share disappear from your investment as well fall to $90 or $9,000. Always think risk versus reward when entering a new trade or investment. You must always protect your capital at all times." Yeah,
stop loss.
it's all true.
That's what
It's all
I
true.
highlighted, that you're not smarter than the market, and always think risk
Yeah.
versus reward whenever you're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, not smarter than the market. You're not smarter than the sports books. We're about to talk. He talked a little bit about market makers later on in this
Oh,
chapter,
yeah.
and I know
Yeah.
immediately I was like, we all thought the same thing.
All right, moving on. Do you guys have anything else in chapter 10? Or I guess I have something on 145 right before it.
I'm on 145 as well.
Okay. I liked how he pointed out, in summary, a key factor in trading short term or investing long term is waiting for the setup, waiting for the right opportunity. Jesse Livermore is regarded as one of the greatest traders of all time because of his trading success in the early 1900s. He once commented, "You don't make money by trading, you make it by sitting." And I
Like
think
that.
patience is key.
Yeah.
Patience is key when
Especially if you're playing that long term game.
it's so tough though.
Yeah.
I feel like you just get addicted to seeing that
Yes.
that pop, like you're making money.
Yeah.
And it's just like even that gamble, like, referencing sports betting, it's like you make that first bet and you win,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, all right, I got it. I got it figured out. This is my edge. And then you keep doing it. Next thing you know, you're like,
They caught up.
you're down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But-
it's even like Bitcoin. I remember. Do you guys remember when you first heard about Bitcoin?
Dude, that is so funny because I actually do.
Do you really?
I vividly remember it.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, I was
remember.
at a club baseball practice. It just getting ready to hit in the batting cage. It's these guys. So I went to Truman State, which is I should probably not have been at Truman State. It's a pretty academically well off school, and like so these guys were over to talking to me at the batting cage, and they're like, "Yo, like, have you heard of Bitcoin?" And like they're talking about trading Bitcoin and where you can buy Bitcoin. And I'm like, I just remember hearing it, and just being like, "What is that? What is it?" They came over, tried to explain it for a split second. I was just like, "No." It's like, that doesn't affect me for sure. I don't know what that is. So, but I remember that. This would have been 2017 ish.
Nice.
Is about the first time I ever heard about it. 2017, 18.
Yeah, bro.
What about you?
I was told one of our older friends, he he was just like, yeah, bro, like, I hope you guys are buying Bitcoin. And at this point, bro, I think it was in the single. I think it was like $8 when I
Go-
checked
Wow.
it. Yeah, bro.
It's like 70,000
Yeah,
of
it's
Bitcoin now.
it's crazy, now. But yeah, I was just. It was like $7. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm about to buy so much, and so I'm just like, all right, whatever. That's cool. Good for you. And gradually, like as the time goes on, like I checked again, it's like $100. Checked in like probably 6 months later, it's at like 500. I'm like, bro, are you serious?
Did he end up making a killing off that?
He did, but the worst part about it is
Okay.
he sold early
Oh.
because he was just like, oh yeah, I got my money. Like that's
Well,
it.
Hey, I mean, good for him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a dub's a dub no matter what.
Yes,
But I just
exactly.
heard,
That's
but I literally
crazy.
just heard this story about this guy who bought like a bunch of Bitcoin at like $8 a share or something like that, and then kind of like went on and was like living his life or whatever. Around like 30 years old, cashed out a few of them, bought a yacht, travels the world,
Bro.
like just a few of them.
Yeah.
Like man, like that.
Bitcoin. It's got to be. I'm gonna check.
Is that really how the world's supposed to work? It makes you wonder, right? What?
Hey, when you're in early.
I mean, when you're in early, sure. Literally changed this guy's family tree
Yep.
Yeah,
because he
completely.
bought some Bitcoin.
Well, you
I'm
know,
just
hey,
saying, I
fast
mean-
money. It's fast going in. It's gonna be fast going out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
very true.
It's gonna be tough to spend that much Bitcoin, but if he finds a way to do it, props.
Yeah, it's
He
at
must have bought the second moon that we have or something. Dude, I just can't believe it. It's so much money that's tied into that stuff.
it's at 28K right now.
Yeah.
So imagine you bought it at 8, and now it's
Yeah. $20,000
that's ridiculous, bro.
return.
That
Ooh.
almost doesn't seem like I try and sell that to be like, sorry, we can't give you that much money. We can't do it. That's too much money. You bought it at 8, we'll give you $50. I'd still be like, shoot, at least I got my 50. But that's
There you
how
go.
that seems to me.
Sounds like you're,
Yeah.
it sounds like you're
But that's
Miguel's
how-
friend. It's like, look, man, I'll
Bro, that's
settle
how
for
that
the 50.
because that's how that seems to me. Nothing in my mind makes sense on how you're gonna give me $28,000 for this thing, just because I bought it at 8.
Yeah.
It's funny
crazy.
'cause this is a double.
Oh, it is a
It's
double.
a double top.
It is a double top.
But the
Oh.
second peak is it broke over the resistance, so it shows a reversal, but there's another support line. This is good. I
See,
feel like I'm
Would you ever trade crypto now and reading this book, or are you only gonna stick with stocks?
I'm gonna try it out.
Oh,
Again.
okay.
I'm gonna
okay,
do
okay.
it. I'm gonna do it.
Perfect. Moving on. Chapter 11: Saucers and Spikes. More charts. More charts.
Yeah, bro.
But what else would you expect from a book called Charting and Technical Analysis? Saucers and spikes. Yeah, this kind of relates to what we were talking about, the spikes and the 45 degrees. Basically, what I got from the spikes was, if you're in, and it spikes, sell on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're out, don't touch it with the 10-foot pole, because something crazy's going on, and it needs to be settled out.
Yeah.
But that's what I got. I didn't really have too
Think-
many highlights in this chapter, really.
On 151, where he says, "Let me just give you a warning. It is best to avoid this type of stock activity and/or a stock that has a tendency to fluctuate like this. It is almost impossible to be on the right side of the trade. Eventually, you will get caught and lose." That said it all for me.
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, looking at a stock like that, I feel like if you're like, this is just the way my brain works. Like if I was like a really good investor and I saw a stock like that, I would maybe treat it like if I was a gambler, like a prop line. Like I know it's maybe not gonna hit, but I'm gonna try and make money off this stock. Oh, I lost a little bit. Oh well. Like that's not what I do.
Right.
Obviously, I don't look at stocks like that as where I'm gonna make my money. But maybe I'll try and make a little money off it, and then dang it, I lost whatever. Like then leave it alone. That's the way I would use a stock like that, because like he says, there's no way that you can be
Yeah, because I mean,
consistently making that money.
right. I mean, if you do it right, if you get lucky,
Right.
you could probably 10x your return
Real
all day.
quick too, because there's spikes, like
Yeah.
quick spikes. But I actually highlighted something at the end of that section on 155. It says short-term profits made off of wild trading stocks always evaporates rather quickly. You want to be methodical, make your decisions slowly and patiently. You're not looking to make a few bucks on a quick move in price. You're looking to make big profits on much larger move in the overall market. And to do this, you must wait for the opportunity to buy at the bottom, protect your investment capital, and then take your profit at the top after a sizable gain. And this honestly kind of reminds me of something that he talks about here in a little bit, about something that you want to talk about patience. Imagine being one of these investors that he says they stockpile all this money, all this cash flow, and waits for like that big mistake, and then just pumps all their money in.
Mm-hmm.
Like he talked about it a little bit, like those obvious ones where it's like if you can get into the market here, whatever you put in, you're gonna make money on it.
Yeah.
Like think about those people that are just, getting that bankroll, waiting, and then boom. I can't even think of a good example, but he was talking about that, and I was just like, oh, dude, I can't even imagine.
There's levels.
Yeah,
Mhm.
There's levels.
yeah.
So
like,
there's levels to everything. It seems like nowadays, just like,
that's true.
which is so funny because like, and that's actually really nice about the stock market and crypto is like people have all their own different ideologies when it comes to how they're trading. So like, you never have to worry that like you're gonna be stuck with that stock.
Yeah.
It's not like you buy that stock like
There's
someone
someone-
else is gonna buy it for a different reason why they're buying it for the long term.
That's what
And
it
you're
is.
selling it for the short term.
And essentially he breaks it down to just like novices versus like literally if it's a transaction between two people, there's only one winning side. Like that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Like between an exchange, like there can, right? I guess unless you sell it, the guy buys it, it goes up a little bit more, he sells it, and you both made money in
Yeah.
that exchange. But then you like, I don't know. Dang it,
Just contradicting himself.
kind of. But
All right.
I don't know. But I mean, at the same time, it's like someone on the other side has to accept that offer,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, hopefully in the long play, like, yeah, it's not like you two are. Hopefully, the one that you sold it to isn't playing the same game that you are playing.
exactly,
Because
because
then
then
they
you're both.
lost.
Yeah, well, then you're both on the wrong track. It's like then you're both over here whenever you're supposed to be over here.
Right.
Like you may be able to tell.
But moving on, chapter 12. Yep, just like that. Continuing patterns, more and more charting.
Just
Now we're
breaking
doing
out
the triangles.
Breaking out triangles.
So now there's basically breaks down and goes through it. There are 3 types of triangles you have for forecasting the value of the stock. There are symmetrical, ascending, and descending triangles. Now, I honestly did not understand how the difference between just looking at the charts alone
Mhm.
between symmetrical and descending triangle on the examples. So 164 and 160. What is the difference there?
Descending, and I mean, I'm assuming other than because it's not exactly technical. If it's symmetrical, then they're both gonna be going at the same rate. The
Right.
descending one looks like maybe one of them is like the bottom one is angled a little slightly up compared
Yeah.
to the other one, right?
That's
You
what
agree
it
with that?
says, at least.
Right, that's what it says too.
Yeah.
Okay.
On 164.
So
right
it's about
under
that
it.
bottom bar. The
Mhm.
bottom bar is more angled. If you look at the first at 160, they're both. I mean, both.
They look the
pictures.
same, honestly.
The only difference
Is it the same chart? real
only
quick?
difference I
Is it
have
the
from
same
it
chart?
from a descending and a
Thank you.
symmetrical is one breaks out of the top resistance and the other one breaks down through the support.
Yeah,
But
I
to
got
me
that.
the
Oh,
lines
yeah.
are the same.
they are.
But like I don't understand how that's a symmetrical. It like I feel like there's an ascending and a descending, but if it breaks through the resistance, then it becomes a symmetrical. To me, I don't think they're. That's what I saw when I was comparing it. As I was like, I like looked back and I was like, is that the same stock? I was like, what is
I didn't-
going on here?
Yeah, I didn't look back. Now that I'm
Yes.
looking back.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't look back.
Yeah,
I
'cause
would have
I was
slowed my
like-
reading down.
I was like, all right, let me look at the patterns.
I
Like,
would've
let me
slowed
see these 3
Yeah.
different types, and then I was
well,
like,
I focused
wait a
more on the reading than
second.
looking at the charts because I was like, oh, I think I understood what you were saying there, and then didn't go back to try and map it to the charts necessarily. But
But yeah, so that's
Yeah.
kind of what I got. I mean, I definitely get the
triangle.
ascending triangle. That
Right.
one's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Flat upper line and then rising lower. But
Mhm. Yeah, I think that you made a good point though. The descending one, it breaks the support level at the bottom. So
Right.
once it does that, but the trend lines they look the same. Honestly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was like, I
it-
don't get it. I
Yeah.
don't get it on that. But I honestly, I don't think I had really any too much highlights in this part, the flags or any of that. So do you guys have anything? I didn't really understand the flags and the pennants too much.
I get so I understand actually because like a flag, or like for the pennant just having. I mean, I
Right.
understand the shape premise of it. I don't.
Right.
It just seemed like almost another way to explain it.
Yeah.
Like to kind of track it.
To me, like I don't know how much I would really.
rely on those.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just looks so short term.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, but you got to imagine, right? If we're reading this book, he's got to give you everything.
yeah.
So I do think it's like another tool, almost like the candlestick versus. I mean, I said I didn't like the candlesticks as much, and it's been nothing but candlesticks this whole book. So I mean, it's kind of like just different ways that he maybe gives you to try to look at smaller portions of it.
Yeah.
I
This is
That-
also daily chart too.
That was a daily chart. That was
For the flag, for the bull flag.
bullish
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, I just don't
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the same way about that. It's like it's something that if you want to look that deep, it's just an extra tool for you,
yeah.
basically.
I highlighted it. It says bull flags are short-term patterns that slope against the prevailing trend. This is a minor trend within the primary uptrend. The uptrend usually resumes after the upper line is
Mhm.
broken.
Gotcha.
And then it just shows it perfectly on 172.
Man, charting I wonder how long actually charting takes.
To just sit there and look at everything.
Just look at it and be like, all right,
Yeah.
draw its lines,
But also-
identify, all right, that's a flag, there's a bull,
But
here's
it's
a
one of those.
saucer.
You can tell it's one of those learned skills because constantly the way that he phrases this stuff, like he'll just give it to you a few different ways because he understands it so purely.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you understand it so purely, like there's something to being able to just look at it and just know
Mhm.
now. Like that's what a crazy skill. Obviously, props to him for taking all the time to be able to do that. But like that's insane to me.
All right, moving on to chapter 13, price gaps. I'll start off 173. He goes, we already discussed price gaps at some extent, but let's explore them a little further. Gaps are simply areas of the chart where there's no trading has taken place. Simply the stock open for trading either higher or lower than it closed the previous trading day. Not only are they normally filled or closed, they can also provide a very significant bits of information as well. Personally, I don't really like gaps. Gaps are scary to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this was a good chapter to like really go in depth with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
he tells you like some of the reasons. Like it could be they came out with reports and the stock did really well, so it's gonna jump.
He said that's what a lot of it is.
Mm-hmm.
He said a lot of it's just like almost insider info or just like public news because what else would it be?
Yep.
Like if it closes at one point and it automatically opens somewhere else, it means something had to have taken place while the market was down
Right.
to make it either automatically more valuable or worse. It's the same way we relate everything back. It's like Aaron Rodgers goes down on a Monday night and the Jets play the Browns next Tuesday. The line is automatically going to look different on that Tuesday
Yeah.
if he didn't get injured to if he did.
Yeah.
So it's like just what happens kind of in the background. I just didn't realize how much that it could play that big of an effect in the stock market
Mm-hmm.
to just create a gap, just to literally leave a gap open.
Yeah, bro. It's
Like, what are the biggest gaps? I wonder. Like something just plummeted, or something literally just. What would be or is there like a limit to that? Like it can only gap up so much. 10% of
know.
its value.
I
I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's what I wonder about. Because like, what does it really? Because I'm just trying to really boil it down.
Mm-hmm.
What does it really make sense if it opens at 23 compared to 24? Like, if we're all trying to make a lot of money here, 23 to 24 is basically nothing.
Oh, right.
Literally nothing. Like, it's a $1 difference. What
Yeah.
can that mean? That's what I don't understand.
No
Like, I
idea.
don't-
That's why I'm like, I
Yeah.
see gaps. I'm like,
Other
this
than
one's not for me.
Well,
This one
yeah.
has way too many
but
gaps.
how
in
can
it.
you control? Oh yeah, okay. So if you're looking at it,
Right.
but once you invest in something that starts gapping, what do you?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
out. I'm
Yeah,
out.
I don't-
It's- I didn't realize I chose a gappy stock.
Right.
Like, because he doesn't say they're bad, but he does like say that be careful because most gaps always have to come back and get closed. So I guess what that would mean is like if it gaps on the way up, you have to like now all of a sudden put a
be mindful.
like an
Yeah.
alarm and alert on it,
Yeah.
like, hey, make sure I'm checking this thing out in case it starts to try and go back down and close that gap. I'll just sell it.
Yeah.
So
I had the obvious highlight. I think we all probably did on 182 at the very bottom. He goes, never buy a stock based on some investment firm raising their rating. Never ever. Basically, this is just like what we were talking about earlier, just how there's some, there's all those stock trading news outlets and stuff like that, and he's just like they're all pushing an agenda,
Yeah.
and which is crazy to think about. It's just like, yo,
And
like,
you'll never know what side either. Too, I think that's how he
Right.
points it out. Like, are they pushing you to buy it because they're invested, or are they pushing you to buy it because they want to sell, like they want to sell it to you and they think
Right.
it's about to dip, or are they
Right.
saying you should buy this because they're about to invest in it too and they want you to go with them?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Are they selling it and trying to bring this thing up before they get out, or are they trying to bring you along with them?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you'll never know. And it's the same with sports betting. It's the same with, we don't have to say politics, but it's the same with a lot of stuff in life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, and then I had another key thing on 184 saying he basically
I like
says,
this.
yeah, you should never simply place a market order to buy a stock and then leave for work knowing that it will be bought for you at the market price whenever the market opens. This could get the stock purchased for you at the high of the day when the price retreats, closing the gap, and never advance to the price you actually paid. And as you can imagine, there's nothing quite as discouraging than starting a trade off with a loss. If you cannot watch the market prior to placing your order, then at a minimum place a limit order to buy. Meaning, as an example, you would specify the order that you want to buy at $25 or better. That way, if the stock gapped up, opening at 26, your order would not be filled until the stock price came back down and your entry price would came back down to your entry price or lower. Yeah. I think
mean,
that's smart.
I should have actually just went back and circled this, because this is like, to me, why you read books. So I go online. I'm like, what can you do? Like, how do you start trading stocks? How do you invest? Whatever. What are some different tools you can use? Okay, you can just straight up invest. You can find a stock and buy it, or you can put in a money market order and put it in to start the day. Isn't that what you want to do? It's like a pre-order.
Right.
But what if your pre-order is now overpaying?
Right.
You're not gonna be thinking like that. You're just thinking, oh, I can make a market order and buy a stock before I go to work.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then who's to say like what's going on in the background? That's stuff you literally won't know
Yeah.
unless you learn about how it works and stuff like that.
There
So
you
I mean,
go.
to me, like that was just like some.
Yeah, that was a gold.
That was
Yeah,
a good
limit
nugget.
orders all the way. Never market orders. Always buy limit orders.
So interesting. That's where the details really matter.
Yeah. And moving on to the last chapter,
Last chapter.
key reversal day. The key reversal day. I don't think I highlighted anything on this.
I want
Part.
to say I wasn't getting.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
get anything crazy out of this one.
Yeah, it was more like, honestly, it was like, yeah, last chapter, like,
We're just
gonna
all
read
just
it.
flying through.
Yeah, I'm
just,
gonna read it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I always, it probably does kind of frame out that way. Like I get a lot of highlights through the first 3 to 4 chapters, and then that last. But I also feel like sometimes the last chapter isn't quite as
Yeah.
dense. It's just ending up that way.
Yeah, I thought it was just pretty like,
This one, I will say, is very detailed, though.
yeah,
Like, every single chart is pretty much completely detailed out for you with everything that you need to look for. So,
And the thing is, we're sitting here being like, I don't understand. Like, I don't like. What is he trying to say through these charts and trends? Like, as if we should know everything. If you just look on 190, he says, in my book, Trading and Trends, I enter exit trades and trends and better technical analysis. We're just so base level on this stuff.
yeah.
It's like I
yeah.
I
just
want to
scratching the
understand it,
surface.
but he probably has a book on bullish trends and on pennants and on flags and on all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, okay. Like we wanted to kind of get the whole landscape of it. So kind of have to look at it that way. Try
Yeah.
to,
That is true. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
these charts were definitely like super, just pointing out every single doji, and engulfing candle and hammer and another engulfing candle and a reverse doji and a hammer. Yeah. So like, I don't
Shooting
know.
star.
To me, like, this chapter was kind of intimidating, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna breeze through this one real quick. But hopefully that doesn't bite me later,
But
because
I always end up understanding the words too. Honestly, it's like I feel like I can understand the words better than the chart sometimes. So I mean,
yeah,
because I understand, like I'll look at the chart and be like, man, what are they wanting me to get from this? And then if
Mhm.
you really read it, it'll break it down a little better.
This
But yeah,
Big
so
example.
does anyone else have anything before we wrap it up and go to our short snippets?
No, sir.
We're reading all the way to the end. This book is different, man. It goes all the way to the end.
Does
Like,
it really?
there's basically no. They do a little happy trading thing, but it goes straight up to 270, which is almost the last page
Oh,
of
yeah.
the book. There's not like too much
Index.
leftover stuff. There's a few things at the end, but
Yeah.
it goes way back to the end. And then, so what is that? 270. We got 74 pages.
Whew.
I'm not doing it till Sunday again.
10 pages a day. That's all it needs.
10
Yeah,
pages.
But somehow it's
Dude.
always 70 pages on one day.
Have any of us? Because that was so. What we were
I
supposed to
started.
be
Hey,
doing.
when we started the book club, I did like
You did,
10 pages a day,
dude.
and it was a breeze.
I only did it for the 48 Laws of Power because then every other book it was like, bro, I got this on Sunday.
Yeah, you're like, I got it. I know,
The
right?
48
That's gonna
Laws of
bite
Power,
us.
it was like, all right, I need 3 hours on Thursday, need about 5 on Saturday, and then I'll just wrap it up with a good 10-hour read on Sunday. That's literally what it felt like with that 48 Laws of Power.
That was
Man.
still a crazy book.
What a book.
It was.
All right. So our short snippets. Moving on. Yeah, guys. So if you are reading along, we are going to be finishing up the book
Come back and
and
join us. And debuting.
debuting the new book.
Chase is debuting our
excited to see.
October book.
I'm
Oh,
excited.
man.
October book.
It's
I
gonna
feel
be
like
a
he's
fun
gonna
one.
go spooky.
It's gonna be a fun one. But all right, short snippets. I'll start off with the fun fact of the day. Fun fact of the day. Ooh, wait, I wanted that one.
He gave himself a base there too. He's fun fact of the day.
Da-da-da-da. Dang it. I wanted that other one.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
Okay, let's get
No.
you guys our fun fact of the day.
I
You
got
ready
it,
now?
I got it. That's fine. We'll go with this one. Fun fact of the day: bananas contain a natural chemical which can make a person happy. The same chemical is also found in a well-known antidepressant.
Wow.
There you go.
I love bananas too.
So
Yeah, me too.
if you're frowning, just turn that smile upside down with banana.
Eat a banana.
Wow.
It's great flavor too.
But does
You
that
like
affect-
banana flavor?
I love banana. Dude, that is
Listen,
my
wait.
flavor.
Do you love banana or the banana flavor? Because
Yes.
those are two different things.
I love both. I love banana ice cream. I love banana
Me too.
banana anything, bro.
Banana
That's
ice
my
cream is
flavor.
I don't
pretty
like banana. You like banana candy?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
yeah.
No,
so
The
so like
candy-
I mean
That's what I'm talking about, like
no,
banana flavor.
Exactly. So I'm a true banana fan because I do like banana candy.
Ew.
But I can see. I mean that's
Those are
where
two
that's
different-
where
that's like-
where it
that's like
separates
grape.
right there.
Grape candy
Mhm.
and grapes, completely different
I
flavors.
agree.
That's so true. I mean,
I agree with that.
everyone says the grape tastes like cough syrup. That's what Sam says.
I don't know.
Fair.
I actually like grape,
It's fair.
but
I
it
like grape
definitely
too.
does
I
not
like grape
taste
too.
like grape.
I like grape too.
But yeah,
But-
so there's your fun fact today. Eat more bananas.
Love
Smile
bananas.
more.
That's interesting.
Does that affect animals?
No wonder monkeys are so happy.
That's
Maybe.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Possibly.
Wait,
Wow.
are they happy? Oh, we're still in there.
Right.
I would be happy.
All right.
No debt. To be debt free. I'd be happy monkey.
Just throwing it around.
All right.
All right.
do we
Here's
got,
our
Miguel?
our quote of the day
What of the day?
from our good friend Carmelo Anthony.
Ooh.
Every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams, or wake up and chase them.
Ooh,
I love
that was
that.
fire.
Man,
Damn.
these athletes.
That was a good one. By Carmelo?
Yep.
Mellow.
Shout out to
Wow.
Melo, man.
Shout out Mellow. Stay
His
mellow.
His son has like a small series going on YouTube. I haven't watched any
Oh,
of the
for real?
episodes. Yeah, bro.
His-
Basketball
gonna
related
be
or
a
something
hooper.
different?
Yeah, he's
Did you see?
it's like a day in the life type of deal.
Oh, that's kind
Yeah.
of sick.
Dude,
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony's like little retirement video for his son was one of the coolest things I've
Oh,
ever
yeah.
seen. I was like, how do you even do that? Because that wasn't even a thing like 40, 30, 20 years ago. So
Yeah, man.
seeing this stuff now, what some of these people are doing, like he made this whole like, basically, like this gift was mine. Now I'm giving it to you. Take it and run with it. Like you got next type thing.
That's
It's a
kind of
lot
sick.
of pressure.
It
but,
is,
like,
bro. It is.
But he is like,
Is he gonna make it to the league?
from what I've heard, he's the best of like the pro sons,
You think so?
isn't he? I've
I
heard he's
mean,
better than.
bro. He's great. He's definitely.
Oh, well, you
he's
would know.
definitely
I mean,
really
you know a
good.
little bit more about game,
He,
honestly.
He
especially
has the
skills-wise.
tools.
Yeah, okay.
He has the tools.
How tall
I'll
is he?
say that.
I think he's taller
I don't
too.
know. He's-
Tallish.
I don't know how tall he is, but watching his like games and stuff,
He's got
he,
that raw talent.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, and he
think.
works too. Like he works out. Like I think that's the biggest difference people don't understand. In order for you to be great like that, you have to workout.
You
You
do.
have to do all that other stuff, the skill work, the weight room. You have to do that
Don't
constantly.
don't believe him? Watch my workouts.
You got to do it. But yeah, man.
There you go.
Shout out to Mello for that one.
Shout out Mello.
All right, Landon, what's our thought-provoking question to end
All
this
right.
off?
Let's wrap it up with our thought-provoking question of the day. All right. If there was one thing that you could make illegal, something that either frustrates you, you just want to take it, get rid of it, what would it be? Take anything in the world, and you can just outlaw it. It could be clicking a pin, illegal. It could be cutting in line. I think that, I mean, it's unwritten rule anyways, but hey, illegal. We're talking you're going to jail.
Hmm.
What is something that bothers you so much? It can even be right now. It might be something different in an hour. What is something that you would want to just get rid of right now?
Oh, I got mine.
Okay.
Just because it was on that topic, the sports bets betting delay.
Oh, a betting delay. That would be crazy.
Time out. I'm giving you the option to outlaw anything, and
Yeah.
you're going to outlaw something that literally doesn't affect you?
Yeah, but I already
He
reading
would
it
jump
from the
into
book,
it. He would
though.
jump into
Oh,
it.
Reading
so
from
then
that
you're
book,
jumping
that-
into sports betting.
No. But
Oh.
See, I knew
But-
he was going to say no to that. You
but-
tried. I knew he was going to say
But there, no, okay. Here, how about this? I'll make it more broad. If you are trading something, either sports betting or something like that, there should be no delay in your decision because you yourself committed to that trade. Oh, also on top of that, it should be even. There's no way that anyone can argue your trade because you made that trade, and that goes in. That goes into
Hey, this is-
vetoes for
This is-
fantasy
yeah,
league.
I'd say this is leaking into other stuff now. That's
yes.
amazing. All right,
If
I'm now
you
on
if you
board.
commit your trade, you commit your trade, and there should be no delay.
I
in
thought
that.
we were all living
That's
that way
fair.
There you go.
with the trade,
That's
but
fair.
okay, I like it. That's so funny.
It's funny because when on the initial question, immediately my mind's like
What'd you go do?
alcohol.
Oh, make it
Outlaw.
illegal.
Yeah, that
Just,
immediately. Just
I like that.
Off
oh
reaction.
my
I like that.
gosh!
But
wow, I did
going
not
back to
expect that.
think real quick, I think I'm gonna twist the question a little bit, but
Go ahead.
I don't think it should be illegal for us to have. Well, it should be illegal to charge people for parking,
Okay, Dude,
especially on main roads,
I
on
was thinking-
side streets.
I'm not even joking. I was trying to think of a parking
Hmm.
one.
Yeah.
Even especially whenever it relates to like sporting events.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's
It's
crazy
it's just annoying, bro. Because when I go to Tampa, if I'm downtown in Tampa, it's like,
to have to
oh
pay to park.
God, I gotta pay
right.
to park. Like,
Yeah, I could see that. I
but
definitely
it just-
agree
it
on like
generates so
on
much money.
roads,
Yeah.
but like parking garages, like
Oh
that's
yeah, of
fine.
course, yeah.
or
I
like
get that.
or like
That's-
stadiums and stuff,
Yeah.
because like that's their land.
yeah, exactly. I get that.
Yeah, but like
but like they want you to be there.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
but
want
it's
to. I don't
limited.
want to play devil's advocate. It is limited.
is
That's why you bought
yeah.
the ticket.
Yeah.
Isn't the parking free? I'm paying to be there, not I'm paying to keep my car. I'm not paying to have your little building babysit my car.
Well,
I just need the space.
it's true. It's true.
I'm just. I mean, obviously. I mean,
I get it.
who wins that? The business. The business wins 10
yeah.
out of 9 times.
Of
Hey,
course.
Like
you didn't need to store your car there.
That is true.
exactly.
coulda
Exactly.
walked,
But
you
that's what I'm
coulda
saying. But
walked,
who?
Uber,
But
Yeah.
who's the judge?
bike.
Who's the
Yeah, that's true.
the gavel? Who's? It's always the business. I mean, like we can go back and forth. Like I see my side and the business's side,
Right.
but I know my side doesn't matter.
There you
Yeah,
go.
bro.
I like
There you
that.
go. Wait, what's yours? What's
Alright,
your legal?
shoot, yeah, I know. I wasn't ready. I was really wrapped up in your guys's. Off the top of my head, if I could make one thing illegal, it's just got to be something I'm not doing. It's gotta be something I'm not doing. I don't want to rat on myself. Let's see. I got 5 seconds.
Eating bananas.
No, nothing food
Jeez.
related. I would make it illegal to.
It's tough, bro. It's a tough question.
Dude, this is
To
because
just
I
jump
really
into.
want to give like. I don't want to say something and then like we do every time, shut this thing down. Like, oh, I should have said that. But since it is just short, I would say I would make it illegal to like. Because some of the things I'm thinking, bro, some of the things I'm thinking are literally illegal, and I see people do it, and it's what bothers me. But it's like you can't like say.
It's already
Okay,
illegal.
fine. You can change it.
I
All right,
finish my question.
if it's
Maybe I should just
illegal,
tap out.
if it's already illegal,
Yeah.
what would you do to make it so people actually enforce it? Would you increase the penalty? Like, is it death
Mm.
penalty if they do it?
Yeah, what is it exactly?
Like, what's grinding your gears?
Yeah.
Landon?
Dude, it
What
has,
is it? You can tell us.
It
It's
has
okay.
to be. It just has to be with driving right now, which just seems so weird because that doesn't really bother me.
What
but it's all up in
specifically
my head.
driving? No driving at all? No cars?
Yeah, just reckless driving. We
Reckless
live in
driving?
Florida. We live in Florida.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I think that's where I was trying to get to. I was like, there's something, but I don't know how to put it because it's not like running red lights. I've done that before, and like no one's, sometimes you get it, and so that's like almost perspective.
Mm.
But reckless driving, I guess, it's already illegal. It needs to be enforced more.
That's a tough one.
It's
It
tough.
is.
That's
it
a
is
tough one to
bro.
enforce.
It's tough. No, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's definitely tough. And
'Cause-
plus, I mean, there's circumstances for everything, but
Yeah.
reckless driving, just because it's already so dangerous out there,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
I guess it's more on my radar because like there's crashes and stuff like that going on like 24/7.
Bro.
We just saw one that escalated less than a week ago on the bridge.
Bro,
with
and that
us-
story's
got
even
stabbed.
crazier.
I haven't even heard the whole background. and
That
stuff,
story
but,
is even
yeah.
crazier. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that after the podcast.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I teed that question up so bad, but you guys' answers were great. So way to dominate that. Way to dominate that.
All right. Well, the only thing we're going to be dominating next is the last section of charting and technical analysis with Fred McAllen, guys. If you haven't read it, read along with us. Try to play catch up. But we will be finishing this book by next week
Chapter 15 all the way up to the end.
and debuting the next one. All right, guys. That concludes our episode for charting and technical analysis. This has been the